You heard Senator Sanders yourself. The tax cuts are a, quote, very good thing, but he said they should have been permanent. Seems like a partial endorsement, at least, of President Trump's tax overhaul from an unusual source. It begs the question, would Democrats vote on extending those tax cuts? Just one of many questions for Philippe Reines, former senior advisor, Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, and Erick Erickson, the founder of The Resurgent and a Fox News contributor. Good to see you both. Thanks for coming in.
Thank you for having us.
Sure. Thanks for having us.
Philippe, you and I have talked about this off camera, but let's get it on the record now. Do you agree with Bernie Sanders that these tax cuts are not so bad?
Well, I think you, Eric, and I are going to benefit from tax cuts. And I think it's hard enough coming on Fox and talking about Hillary Clinton. I'm certainly not going to defend Bernie Sanders. But I think his point is correct that they were made permanent for corporations and not for individuals.
But hang on, let me unpack that, and I'll give you more time. First of all, you took that little shot that the three of us are going to do well. When Bernie Sanders himself said the Tax Policy Center, which both sides say is kosher here, 91% of middle-income Americans are going to get the break. So you may say that people in Washington are going to do great. Actually, the middle class is going to do fine. Will you admit that?
Well, nearly 10% of the middle class is tens of millions of people. There are people watching this show right now who think they're going to get a tax cut, who aren't going to find out for months, if not a year, that they're not. And that's not okay. And if you look at the brackets, I believe that 91% is the lowest guaranteed number of any of the brackets.
Okay, I want to bring Eric in here. Eric, I don't understand what's going on here. Every single Democrat in the House and Senate voted against it, and now they're saying, wait, make it permanent, make it permanent. The problem is you didn't make it permanent, but they didn't vote for it temporarily.
Right. Only 5% of Americans under this bill, according to the Tax Policy Center, are going to get a tax increase, and all of them make over $1 million a year. This is going to be a tax policy that benefits people. And by the way, it is the corporate tax cuts that Bernie Sanders didn't really want to do that are causing people to see suddenly a $15 minimum wage by some corporations and $1,000 bonuses from other corporations. And it is also the policy Barack Obama wanted, a corporate tax rate of 20%. It's actually 21 by Republicans. So the middle class is totally going to benefit from this, and the Democrats are now in an awkward position of having campaigned against it.
Eric, let me ask you a follow-up. We'll go back to Philippe. Rich Lowry had an interesting tweet. He said in the last 24 hours, quote, first thing Republicans should do when they were back in January is make Democrats vote on extending all the middle-class tax cuts. What do you think about calling the bluff and saying, okay, the corporate tax cuts are permanent, so are the personal ones?
I think it's a great idea. We'll probably see Democrats argue over what is middle class, but I think they ought to try it.
Yeah, Philippe, I want to bring you in on something real quick, a different topic, the FBI. You retweeted James Comey and some of his truth and justice tweets, these long-thinking things he does lately, and you said, dude, do you not take any responsibility for this mess or damaging the FBI? Drop the sanctimony and take your share. I'll give you 30 seconds to explain that, but also, will you now admit then that some of the people at the FBI under Comey, Andrew McCabe and others, were biased in favor of Hillary Clinton, never should have been involved in that probe?
The point I'm making and that I've made in the past is that Jim Comey has politicized the FBI more than any director since Hoover, and there were steps put in place to prevent another Hoover. He violated DOJ and FBI rules last year, and now he's upset that after meddling in a partisan and an election, that there are people suffering for it. And no, look, there are 10,000 FBI agents. I imagine at least 50% of them are Democrats. I think more likely, probably a much higher number.
Right.
They're allowed to have
This is America.
opinions.
People are allowed to have political opinions. However, when Peter Strzok is texting, Donald Trump is an idiot, I can smell the Trump supporters in Walmart. That suggests more than just your opinion.
No, he texted that. I'm not going to defend the Peter Strzok, and I think neither will Bob Mueller. Bob Mueller relieved him and kicked him off his team, which is the right thing to do. But Strzok also tweeted those things before he had anything to do with this investigation.
All right, I
think unless Mueller's entire team were wearing MAGA hats, that we'd be discussing that they are not suitable for this task.
I want to get Eric in on this and a whole bunch. We're going to bring you both back in a couple minutes.